Now, the one area that we haven't looked a lot at is creating and using looks. So we're going to jump into the creative section. And here we've looked at some of the controls, but one of the ones that we didn't look at was the very top one, and that is looks. And if I click on the drop-down menu, you see there's a lot of looks that are already available to you. And just like with LUTs, if you create a custom look, you can bring it in and apply it to your clip. Now let me walk you through how you can apply looks and tweak them. So the first thing you could do is you could go through and just select one that you like and be kind of arbitrary. Here's a nice monochrome black and white, but perhaps you want to be able to visually see it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to switch back to the first look, Blue Cold, and you'll notice there's little arrows to the left and right of the clip in this mini viewer. And I can click through and it will update the image and show me what that look looks like when applied to my clip. So I can step through and basically try them all out. And then when I find one that I like, and as a matter of fact, one that I like these Fuji ones, and I think this one has a lot of punch. So I'm going to select it by clicking on it, and now it's applied to this clip. So that's the first step. There's a couple of other adjustments that you can use to really tweak your image. I can go ahead and create a faded film look. So if I increase this adjustment, what it does is it reduces the contrast. You can see that in my scopes, and it also reduces the color. So it's low contrast, less saturated. And that's kind of the faded film look. I'm not a big fan of it, but for some instances, it might be useful. I do like the sharpen feature. We've used that before, as well as the vibrance, the smart saturation. Some other elements that we haven't used yet are the intensity slider. Now, what the intensity slider allows you to do is you can increase or decrease the look. So what it's doing is if I pull it back, I'm reducing the amount of the look that's applied to the clip. So if it's too strong, I can pull it back. Or if I really like it, I can push that look over to the right and it becomes much more dramatic. So the key is that intensity slider. That's how you're going to really get the look that you want and the nuance that you want. I'll reset this back to its default. And the final thing here is a lot of times you'll see commercials and movies and they seem to be like a duotone. And that's exactly what you can do with these two color wheels. Now you'll notice the circles are empty, which means nothing has been changed, but I'm going to go ahead and in my shadows, I'm going to make them more blue. I'm going to just go ahead and grab this and drag it towards the blue. If I hold the shift key down, kind of lets me move it a lot quicker. I'm going to do this pretty dramatic so you can see how it works. And then I'm going to take my highlights and I'm going to tint those in the opposite direction. I'm going to actually put those more towards the oranges. Now, once I've done this, you see it's affected the image, but where this really comes into play is your tint balance control. And if I go ahead and move this to the left or the right, you can control which tint is more dominant, whether it's the blue one or the orange one. So here we're pulling back the blue, or we can add more gold. So it's adding more blue or adding more gold. Again, it allows you to create a specific look that you may want to apply to other clips. So I really kind of like this look. It looks kind of faded except for the car really pops. So I'm going to stick with this and I'm going to finish it off with just a vignette. And we've learned how to use the vignette and I want to darken the edges. There's not a lot that I want to do to this. I might go ahead and make it a little bit smaller with the midpoint. I definitely want a nice soft feather. And this is a pretty cool look, but the problem is I've only applied it to one clip and I really don't want to go through and apply it to all of my clips. I do like it, so I am going to save it. So I have a couple of ways that I could save it. I could go ahead and I could export it as a look. And I'm going to go ahead and put it in the same folder as my other LUTs. And I'll save this as Miata Ride. And go ahead and press save. So now if I did want to apply it to another clip, for instance this clip here, I could go here underneath my creative section. And instead of choosing one of the default looks, I could browse, jump to my previous folder. There it is as a look. And I can go ahead, double click to load that in. And now this look with all of its nuance is applied to this clip. Well, as I said, I don't want to do this a clip at a time. So instead of applying it to an individual clip, I'm going to go ahead and apply it to all of them at once. So let me first remove this effect. Remove this video effect and I'll hit OK. And I also want to go ahead and remove the effect from the very first clip. Now, how am I going to apply this to all of the clips? I'm going to apply it with an adjustment layer, and that's how I like to use looks. So let's pop back to the basic color layout. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because I want to see my project panel, because I'm going to create an adjustment layer. I can simply click and go adjustment layer right here, creates a new adjustment layer that's the exact size and frame rate of my sequence. And now I'm going to go ahead and throw it onto track 2. Hit the backslash key just to make sure that I see everything. I'm going to drag this on, and now I want to extend it, and I want to make sure that when I extend it that I'm using the right tool. And right here, if I grab it, you'll notice I have a yellow trim tool, which is a ripple trim, and I don't want to do that because that's going to move my clips. So I'm going to make sure that if I have it yellow, I can hold down the command key or the control key, and now when I drag, I won't ripple the clips below it. Once I have my adjustment layer in place, it becomes really easy. I select the adjustment layer, and I can actually use any of my color correction controls at this point. So if I just grabbed vibrance, it will actually increase the vibrance of every clip that's below it. But that's not what I want to do. I want to apply that look that I created. So let me go up here under Look, hit Browse. It'll take me to the location where I saved it, and there it is, Miata Ride Look. I'm going to go ahead and double click it, and it now applies this look to my entire show. And that's what I love about using looks and adjustment layers. So when it comes to grading an entire show, you can go ahead and correct each clip so they're neutral. But then if you want to apply a look to your finished show, you should do that on an adjustment layer because it gives you more control, more flexibility, and if your executive producer doesn't like it, it's easy to change.